What is up,
Hello, friends.
Twin Hills Community Church? How is everybody?
Thank you for joining us. Hi, Amy. Hi, Jerry. Hi, Adam. Woohoo! Delta Wave Poet. Lincoln.
So glad y'all are here. If you're just joining us for the first time, this is Mega the Podcast's live stream. What that means
Caitlin.
is we're going to be taking suggestions from you and improvising an episode in real time. We got some of those suggestions from Patreon.
Yeah, we have some good suggestions.
And this is going to be kind of a Q&A one, like a mailbag episode. And I think that is all you need to know. If you want to play bingo along with the episode, there is a link right here. I'm putting it in the chat. And you can win a Climax Youth Ministry pin.
A pin. And stickers.
And stickers.
And a personal note.
And a personal note and well wish from us.
Hi, Kristen.
What's up,
Welcome
everyone?
to church, everybody.
It is church.
We're about to have church.
So I don't know if we need to go through these because they're kind of question based.
Oh, you know what you sent in, you sick fucks.
But we
could use some more.
Yeah, we could use a few more.
Maybe
so if
like 3 or 4 or 5 more. That's it.
If you have a spiritual question or query for Hallie and Gray,
Jessica
why don't you
Banks.
go ahead and ask it in the chat, and we'll use them. Also, if you could make sure you smash that subscribe to get in the chat and give a little thumbs up in the thumbs up section of your YouTube viewing experience, because that helps the algorithm.
Thanks, Caitlin.
Great hair day, Holly.
Thank you, Caitlin.
Yes, we did get all the Patreon ones. We did get all the Patreon chats or questions this morning.
Oh, Amy added more Patreon this morning. Did you get those?
Yeah, those are all there.
Okay.
Yeah, so we kind of picked a few from the Patreon, and then if you could use the chat to ask us anymore. So here's one: can you use transubstantiation on other things than bread, weed, LSD, or cocaine? Okay. Does transubstantiation also work on other things?
Real fun to write out the word transubstantiation
at 11 a.m.
That makes me actually feel really good about myself. I think I did it even without looking. Wait, let me look.
My Kristen says my spiritual question is just how many times should we vote for Trump after these last few weeks?
Oh, Kristen, I'm as of yesterday, I got really worried. I mean, I've been like downright alarmed for a really long time, but now I'm like quiet worried. I'm like, what is happening? Things just went up a notch. We just changed. Things just changed. I'm worried. Yeah, are Hallie and Gray? What would Hallie and Gray? I've been like actually trying so hard not to think about any of that political stuff since yesterday.
So thanks, Kristen, for bringing that into the conversation.
Kristen, tell me how you're coping. Like, what are you doing besides like praying and begging for mercy and a quick return?
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay,
bad.
So we'll do. Can you write these, or do you want me to?
I'm writing them.
Okay.
Okay, I got transubstantiation.
And spiritual question: how many times should we vote for Trump after these last few weeks? Vote early and often.
Oh, that's good. How many times?
Is Old Testament God the same as New Testament God, the same as Allah? Yeah, disassociation is also I don't think disassociation is always a bad thing. I think it's sometimes a necessary thing. Like
we were talking about that because I'm trying to come to grips with how bad I dissociate. I mean, it'll just be like, bye, and I'm trying to recognize that and like come back into my body, which I've learned in my religious trauma therapies that it's a very uncomfortable place to be for me, is in my body. I don't like it. These feelings, this body, its needs.
Thanks for had a few more people join. We're getting a few more Q&As for the chat and for the episode. So throw a Q&A in there for Gray and Hallie.
Oh, but we were talking. Oh, sorry. Finish.
Yeah, and hit that thumbs up if you can, and sub to the channel. That really helps us.
But I just remembered where I was going with that. Sorry, I'll keep writing them down. I keep changing the subject. I'm going back to, well, now I forgot why I was talking about that.
just write them down.
Okay, I got that one.
Any more Gray and Hallie questions before we get going here? I think that we have about 7. I'd love to know Gray's first impression of Hallie when they first met.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
I've never thought of that.
Yeah. We'll make something up around that. Okay, Gray's first impression of Hallie. How they first met.
What's that? What's that Allah one? I didn't get that one.
That one is
the Old Testament God. Is the Old Testament God the same as New Testament God? The same as Allah?
OG verse NG. If Gray has a son, what will his name be? Red.
Okay, got it. Oh, dream job.
A dream job. Wait, where do you see that? If you didn't work at Twin Hills, what would be your dream job? Okay. And what would Gray's son be if he had a son? That's pretty good. I think that would be, that's enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we got plenty plus the Patreon.
Oh yeah, dissociating. This is what we're talking about. Is Greg and I were talking about how I'm trying to learn not to dissociate as much in my religious trauma therapy. But there are certain dissociations we do that are good. Every time you read a book, you're dissociating.
Yeah.
And that's good. It's like a break. Sometimes I feel like if I play games like backgammon, it's somehow dissociating in a healthy way. So it's not always bad, right?
You read a book and you're hallucinating.
I'm asking the group, like, yeah, I love the description of a book that you're staring at a tree and hallucinating wildly, which is exactly what's happening. But,
all right. Zoning out, we'll talk about dissociation.
Zoning out while talking about. Thank you. Thank you, Jeanette. For seeing me.
That's real. Well, let's do some comedy.
Okay.
And thanks everybody for being here. And if you are new to the jam, this is how the jam will go. This will end up in the podcast feed at some point. We'll try to steer clear of looking too much at the chat while we improvise, because it ends up being a little bit overstimulating.
Hold on, stretch it out, Greg. I just have to see if I can get her to stop the scream thing. Do you think this is about?
Sorry, stopping the scream thing is Holly saying, "Can we make our dog stop barking at us for food, even though she's got a lot of food in front of her?" Oh wait, Greg, what was the surprise theme from last week? Oh, the catchphrase that no one caught? Is that what we're talking about? I think we were okay. So last week there was a new Donovan Geo catchphrase, and it was, "What are we gonna do about dinner?" And nobody got it right. And it's funny because our friend Molly Jensen, who's appeared on the podcast doing music and whatnot, was here yesterday. And I said, "Do you know what this is from?" And she knew it immediately. This is a deep cut Christian reference from, I'll just give you a hint. It's from some children's Christian media from probably the 80s or 90s, 80s, maybe even earlier. So
are we gonna keep using that Donovan Geo catchphrase?
If anybody knows, what are we gonna do about dinner?
Embedded?
Yeah, it's pre Veggie Tales. So I'm gonna let the mystery be, as they say, and somebody's got to figure it out.
Evidently it was water.
Okay. All right, folks, here we go. I'm going to roll us on this end. If you hear dog drinking water in the background, that will also end up on the episode.
God, is she supposed to drink that much?
Okay, let's do it. Here we go.
Got your back.
Got your back. Thanks for joining the live stream. Here's an episode. Got to caffeinate.
And thanks again for your comments, because I love going back afterwards and reading them. There were good ones last week. Okay, great. Hiya, I'm Hallie Labont, and this is Mega, coming to you from Twin Hills Community Church, where every single week we're giving our mega church a tiny family feel. We love to introduce you to members of our church staff and people from our community and my land. I always find it to be a treat and a treasure. And per usual, I'm joined by my co-host. We're on YouTube Live, recording an episode with our Patreon members who have sent in a few questions. I'm feeling too blessed to be stressed. How are you today, my brother in Christ? This is Gray Haas.
Down with G-O-D. Yeah, you know me, Hallie. I am feeling so blessed and so anointed and so not disappointed. So it is great to be here with all our listeners. And and I guess you too, Hallie. How are you?
I am not bad. As you know, I'm a summertime gal. I've got my challenges. I've got my crosses to bear, trying to find out how to get enough protein in my husband Lance Labont's body without giving him anything from an animal, when the only thing he prefers to eat is animal protein. And I'm a mom. I'm a Christian mom trying to, keep a godly household. So I got my challenges. In fact, Gray, I was wondering, you seemed sort of surprised to see me here today. And I was wondering, do you remember the first time you ever saw me?
The first time we met?
Yeah.
Let me think, Hallie. I don't think I do really. I mean, you're kind of like, and I mean this as a compliment, kind of like a piece of furniture that, you see and you're always like, oh yeah, that chair is there, but you don't always think of it as being being a chair. It's kind of like a piece of furniture in your house.
What kind of chair? There's so many kinds of chairs. You have swivel chairs, you have big padded chairs, you have reclining chairs, you have dining room table chairs.
Right.
You have really ornate chairs, like a throne. Like, what kind of chair would I be?
Those chairs where someone go, everybody's seated, and then you go, we need another chair, and you always kind of keep a chair.
Oh, one of those kind of like fake wood folding chairs?
Well, not necessarily
like an aluminum folding chair?
Just kind of a chair that you might, keep in a corner to put a plant on, but then you need an extra chair or something.
Does it at least have padding? Oh, it's for a plant? That's okay.
Yeah. I mean, I gotta be honest, Hallie, you've been such a fixture in our community, and you're a comfy chair that often can be used for other things.
Well, I remember exactly the day we met. I remember it as
Really?
if it is tattooed on my brain.
Really?
I do. It was in your very first leadership meeting. You got welcomed in. We all offered you a word basket of encouragement.
I love that.
We went around the circle, and you had brought a big not a whiteboard, but like those big placards. You were going to make a presentation, like a huge white notebook. What are those called that we use in meetings?
Oh, just the big pad?
Yeah, huge pad that usually you put it on like an easel, but you hadn't brought an easel, and you said, "You there?" And I said, "Me?" And you were like, "Stand up and put your arms out like this." And I stood like this with my hands like really close to my hip bones, and you set the big, thing as if that I was the bottom of the easel, and then you tipped the rest of the big whiteboard toward my forehead, and I just stood there like a triangle as if I was a big human easel
Oh, right.
behind it. And then you started writing on there with markers and big old Sharpies and everything, and you gave a full demonstration, and I held your whiteboard the whole time.
I remember that. I do remember that. And I guess that kind of goes back to like a chair that you use, you can use it for other things. So I guess our memories are the same.
I thought you looked so cool. You had this totally cool accent.
Do you remember when I first came in and I did, and they said I knew a youth leader and I did some of those clap push-ups?
That was so cool.
I thought that was, yeah, I had thought a lot about that because I was like, I got to make a good impression. And that was the impression I
And
decided to
you
make.
did that sort of gentle, dramatic, it wasn't violent or anything, but you did the kick down the door for your entrance.
Right. I mean,
but it
I
smacked
didn't
the
break.
wall and closed again. And
Yeah.
so then we were like, what just happened? And
I actually didn't think the door was on a swivel thing like that. But anyway, I thought the push-ups did go great, and I did, I laid out the whole vision of climax right there on that pad of paper.
And I couldn't see it because I was in the dark. It was up against my head. And my arms got so tired. And I just thought, this is so neat that this is a way that I can serve the new guy, the rookie. Did anybody razz you or give you a heck back then?
No. I mean, Hallie, I came in. What do they say? Like, I came in hot, I feel like. And I, the guy who used to run Climax, what a joke. I mean, it was just basically floundering, and I breathed new life into it, didn't I?
Yeah, Climax is so awesome. And it means so much to so many kids around the central Indianapolis area. And I'll tell you what, I think you made an impression that day, and now you're a senior member of the team. I
Yeah.
mean, you've been here so long, which is weird
Well, not
because you
that
haven't
long, I
aged
guess.
at all.
No, I haven't. Anyway, Hallie, let's get into some of the questions that our listeners gave to us this week. We're really excited to entertain some of these awesome spiritual questions and queries.
One of them I think is so cool because it's really getting into some of the what I like to call, the apologetics, the exegetical stuff that I think is really what makes us sound like we're taking this stuff seriously. We are scholars of the word. And someone wrote in about transubstantiation, which I think is so cool.
You do?
And well, I do. I mean, don't you?
No, Hallie, I don't want to talk anything about that Catholic stuff.
Well, basically, it's it's their word, and it's they give everything a little too much flair. They're lighting incense and giving credit to ladies. Very weird. But they're still describing certain things that are true in the Bible, and that is that for instance, when we eat the bread, it really does become Jesus.
Not to us, though. I don't think.
I always thought it did.
No,
because I mean,
Hallie,
I thought it did because it goes into my body and it becomes part of my body. You are what you eat. So
No,
it becomes
Hallie.
blood.
No.
It becomes.
Oh, that's the way you think of transubstantiation?
Well, isn't it the same as like the things that you drink become your pee, the things that you eat become your poo?
No, Hallie. Okay.
And in this case, it becomes the body of Christ and the blood. And
We need to get into this, Hallie, because I'm really worried about your I'm really worried right now about your theology.
Some Catholic stuff in me?
Well, Hallie,
I don't.
we here at Twin Hills believe that these are powerful symbols. Amazing symbols. These things are not transforming into anything, right? We don't believe that the wine we believe that Jesus turned water into wine. That's a version of changing one thing into another.
Well,
but
we use grape juice.
Right.
So that's the symbol.
But we do
it, but then when it goes in our body, it becomes we are one with Christ.
Right. But we don't think of it. We don't call it transubstantiation.
No, that's what the Catholics call it.
Right. And we are not ever going to think of it as something that actually I think you've just come up with some weird third version in your own mind that you're that transubstantiation means you're drinking wine and you're drinking the grape juice and it turns into blood because
Well,
it goes into your bloodstream.
yeah, because also I think like when I say things are covered in the blood, I picture it covered in blood, don't you?
Well, I do think that I do imagine that, but I don't think of it as changing into. I think of that as the actual blood of Christ, but it's not changing. It's not like I think of it's covered in the blood and then the blood turns into grape juice. Do you know what I mean?
But you have to think about what a symbol means. A symbol stands for something that's real. And so this means it's real. This is a thing. Okay. So basically, like, it's the same as saying, like, ask Jesus into your heart. Well, how could you ask him into your heart? Like, is there a door? Is he knocking? Is that a symbol? Or is he in my real heart? Like in my chambered heart? You know what I mean? Because, like, you think about Jesus coming into your heart that looks like a heart that, is in the I love New York sign, but
It's
that you actually have aortas and stuff. You know what I mean? And so
right.
this is part of like taking the Bible literally means this is literally happening. You know what I mean? Like he's not breaking my heart. He's not healing my broken heart like symbolically. He's actually healing my broken heart.
I don't know what you're talking about, Hallie, in terms of all that stuff. I'm just saying here at Twin Hills do not believe that when you eat bread, it turns into the corpse of Jesus. And that is what Catholics believe.
Yes.
They are
Yes.
basically doing kind of a cannibal style
Yeah.
thing.
Like a corpse that would be dead flesh. We're eating the actual alive
Right.
Jesus
And
here.
and that's why we say when we eat it, it's a symbol of the living Jesus,
That's right.
not you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm a
We
little bit
eat him
concerned that
alive.
you're even using the term and that you had some other third idea that it's just like you are what you eat is basically what you were thinking of it as.
Well, I didn't know until just now that transubstantiation is a Catholic word. So I feel very convicted that I've been using a bad word. I thought it was a good word.
Well, I mean, I think the question was, can you transubstantiate things into other things? Like the person asked, um, that if there was like an illicit substance like weed or LSD or cocaine. And I wouldn't be surprised if Catholics do that in some of their ceremonies, but we, of course, don't. And I just want you to remember that, Hallie,
But
that we don't believe that this is actually turning into anything. We believe that it is a symbol of the thing that it was
yeah,
before.
it's a symbol until you eat it. And then that becomes very real. Now, here's
It's
the
it's a very I mean, it's a mystery, Hallie, and I just want us to lean into remembering that it's a mystery, and it's a beautiful, awesome mystery,
yeah,
but we don't
yeah.
believe in
But you know
intrinsic.
what? Digestion is a mystery. We
We've
don't
already
exactly know what's going on there. We put stuff into our bodies and then it transforms. We don't, and nobody knows what's going on in there.
well, I think some people do. I think we've already talked about this one too much, Hallie, and
Well,
it's
I learned
concerning,
this
and
week from my doctor, Chris. He's my GI
well,
doctor,
he's your dentist, isn't he?
but he can do it all. And he was telling me that as a GI specialist, the way they view from your lips to your bottom hole going out the bag,
Hallie,
from there to there is considered outside your body. It's
what?
not inside your body. It's outside your body.
What do you mean? It's inside your body.
From your mouth to your bottom hole, that tube is considered outside your body.
How? It's inside your body.
No, because you're just passing things through there. It gets absorbed through that wall. And on the other side of that wall, that's the inside of your body. But inside your GI tract, that's outside of your body. And that's why there are all these bugs and things living in there.
Hallie, we're literally putting something inside our body, and you're saying it's outside the body.
Yeah, it's in from the mouth to the butthole
Hallie,
is outside your body.
no.
Yes,
Don't listen to your dentist when he says that because I don't think he knows.
it's true. But here's the word transubstantiation. Here's the final word on whether or not God could transubstantiate some weed or some LSD or some cocaine. Grieves the heart of God to even hear these words. But the sad answer is yes. Could Jesus turn something into a marijuana plant?
If he wanted to, he could,
Yes, he could.
but he doesn't want to.
He Well, if it was a case of glaucoma, maybe he would, because if it's treating an issue, it's medicine. If it's entertaining, it is sin. And so he could, in the case of a glaucoma patient, if a woman tugged on his robe and said, "Oh my gosh, my eyes, my land," of course, she would be speaking Aramaic, or else Jesus would be like, "I don't know what you're talking about."
So you're
'Cause
saying if a woman with glaucoma tugged on Jesus's robe, he he may transubstantiate something,
yeah, olive branch,
an
say.
olive branch into marijuana
Yes, because
because it's not a drug.
not if it's treating glaucoma.
Okay.
And I know this because my husband, Lance Labont, his mom has been treating her. It's called cannabis. It grieves the heart of God. I don't want to talk about it, but when it's treating, it's not a narcotic. That's what I've learned.
Okay.
Like somebody could have a good old time with morphine, but when they use it in a hospital and it's treating an issue, it's not an issue. But if you take morphine out of a hospital,
It's an issue.
it's an issue.
Right.
When there's no issue, that's the issue. So it's the same with cannabis, is what my husband Lance Lebon is telling me, even though I'm having a really hard time, not just thinking that his mom is trying to get high and ask me to bring her another bag of Doritos and make it the family size this time. So
Does she say that?
yes, ever since she can see now too, so she can tell if it's the family size Dorito bag because she could see all of a sudden because of this cannabis.
So your mother-in-law started taking cannabis. Now she can see, and she keeps asking for biggest size bags of chips.
All of a sudden, she's as snacky as you've ever seen a gal.
Really?
She's got those. If she goes down to the gas station, she's got a CVS at the bottom of her street, and she'll go down there and fill up on like moon pies, Twinkies. She brings stuff home. I'm like, Mom. But she says once you've gone through the change, nobody's allowed to say jack about what you put in your mouth. So I'm looking forward to it.
Do you call your mother-in-law mom?
I call her mom. I'm supposed to, because my husband Lance Labont and I became one flesh when we got married.
Okay. Well, Hallie, I think we should move on to another question because this went in directions that I never possibly considered.
And I would just like to confess to the community that I was using a Catholic word and I didn't know.
Yeah, that
And
was.
I was wrong, and I feel terrible.
Well,
I'm
you can use
embarrassed.
it. It's just like one of those things that you don't believe. You can say words, you just don't have to believe them.
Right. And I want you to know that I know that communion is purely symbolic until it goes in your body.
But then according to your definition, taking communion is going outside your body.
That's right.
So you think when you take communion, you're actually putting it outside your body?
Yeah, because
Well,
otherwise I would be a cannibal.
but how? No, Hallie,
Don't
you're not.
actually eat Christ.
No, we are not eating Christ. We've already covered that. We are eating the symbol of Christ, and I am just pointing out that according to you, no one can absolutely take communion because you're claiming. I don't understand how your
I
version.
have another confession.
What?
I'm going to be very honest with
We also don't really do confession, but go ahead.
all the twin hellers out there.
Okay.
Is that, you know what? I feel guilty about using the Catholic word. I also feel guilty that, you know what? I have spent a lot of my life having a little bit of dread around communion, because every time we do communion, it does say in the Bible, it does, look it up. It's New Testament too. So it's New Covenant. And so there's no argument. It says that if you take communion with sin in your heart, you will get very, very sick. And
Well,
that's in
according
the
to you,
Bible.
you're not taking communion. It's like you're tossing it into a pipe by the side of the road.
And just because of that Bible verse, every time I've ever taken communion, I do it with honest to God fear in my heart, because I don't want to get sick. I hate being sick. I can't be sick right now. I'm trying to keep my home together. I got my kids and my girls, and my Brandy's now always here. You have got Donovan Geo. We all have our crosses to bear
Oh,
in
I
our
don't care about him.
resumes. But I have held fear in my heart around communion my whole life because I am always like, what if I have an unconfessed sin in my heart that I forgot about or never knew it was, I didn't do it, I did it inadvertently, or I wasn't conscious of it or something. And I have this sin in my heart. And then I take communion to do the symbol and the blood and the bread and the hanging on the cross and the thank you so much. And they pierced your side, they hurt your hands, they did the whole thing. It took a long time. It must have been awful. Then you descended for 3 days. You had a boxing match with Lucifer. The soundtrack was great. You came back. All that is what's going through my mind when I'm doing communion. And then the whole time I'm just paying attention to my stomach. Is there any rumbling in the tumbling? Are we going to have to make a quick dash and a break for the bathroom? And that's a terrible way to go into such a beautiful, symbolic event.
Okay, Hallie, is there a question that it could just be a little bit? I don't know what's going on with you today in terms of your faith walk, because it's just a little bit, it's just a little bit tense. It feels like. Is there a question that the listeners asked, and I'm going to pull them up here,
You know what,
that
Gray?
might be
I
a
might
little
need
bit
some
easier?
prayer. Would you stop and give me a quick word?
You want me to pray for you right now?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Heavenly Father, we just really want you to put Hallie in your heart and in your good works, because we just are so impressed by everything that she does, and we're just so and she's just needing so much of you, Lord, and just really needs you right now, Father. And just, all the stuff that she talked about previously that you've already heard that I don't need to reiterate. She just really needs that. And if you could help her get a little bit more solid on some of her beliefs, fears, thinkings, and general opinions, I think that would be great, Father. So let's just all pray for Hallie, and yeah, in your name, amen.
Oh, thank you, Gray. I got an 18 just prayer.
Oh, thank you,
Threw
Hallie, for
18 of
counting
those
those.
justs in there for me. That really is a word basket of encouragement. Thank you. Okay. Now
Okay,
I
so
feel much better. Next question.
let's go to one that might be a little bit, easier, I guess, is something. How about Hallie and Gray? What are your go-to karaoke songs? Has the leadership team ever done any team building activities like that? Oh, I love karaoke, don't you, Hallie? And we have gone to karaoke together.
Well, we have a full karaoke event space
Right,
here
we
that
have
has
karaoke
20
rooms.
different karaoke rooms.
Yeah,
We've got all the lasers going.
yeah,
You can book private parties and events. The speaker systems are top of the line.
yes.
The microphones are, everything we do at Twin Hills is with excellence.
It's excellent. And so, yes, we do have karaoke here at the church, but we have done leadership events where we've gone to karaoke that, sometimes it can be a little difficult when you go to a karaoke place that's not Christian and it's a lot of secular music.
Yeah. So,
You'll have to find some of those crossovers that can still honor God.
but here at our God honoring karaoke den at Twin Hills, it's the only things available in the menu of songs are Christian
Only
artists.
Christian. Only
And
Christian.
it is awesome. And you know
Awesome.
what? I have my go-to, and it's Amy Grant. Saw Me in Half. I love her. And everything she does holds up, especially he's just a fat, 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 fat. She had a song, Fat Baby. He's just a fat, 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 fat little baby. Amy Grant was talking about, symbolically, I think, our spiritual walks, and she called us fat babies.
I never have heard that song, Hallie.
It's real. Look it up. Amy Grant, Fat Baby. She said, "Don't you let your faith be a fat, 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 fat." It's great. All her stuff holds up, stands the test of time. Fat, 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 fat.
Sometimes that doesn't sound that Christian to me, Hallie.
I
But
thought you would love that song. Don't be a fat baby in your faith.
yeah, I don't know. Sometimes Amy Grant's metaphors, I'm like, oh, you could work a bit harder on that. Ever since she married Vince Gill, I kind thought equality went down.
Oh, I think he loves her so well, and he might not be Christian, but he's country, and it
Same
kinda
thing.
works, yeah.
I guess my go-to, song, Hallie, is "Bus Driver" by Caedmon's Call, if I'm gonna be singing
Awesome.
here. I
Awesome.
am a bus driver. So I'll do that one, but then,
What's
if
the symbolism of being a bus driver in that Christian song?
well, what's the symbolism of being a fat baby, Hallie?
You have to keep your faith lean and mean.
Okay, well, bus driver, everybody get on and follow me.
Oh, okay.
So, and I guess if I'm gonna go for a secular song, oh, I'm always gonna do "Crazy Frog" by Axel F.
What is that one? I'm not familiar.
"Crazy Frog" by Axel F? You don't know it?
Crazy Frog by Axel
Oh,
F.
Hallie.
Crazy
"Crazy
Frog
Frog"
by
by
Axel F.
you don't know "Crazy Frog" by Axel F?
Crazy Frog by Axel F.
You don't know it goes like you remember dun
Dun,
dun
dun,
dun
dun,
dun
dun,
dun
dun,
dun 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 dun
yeah.
dun dun
That's your
dun.
karaoke
That
song?
is my karaoke
That
song.
is so cool, and you just keep going dun, 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 dun,
Well,
dun.
at the beginning where he's like
Ooh, wait, do that again. I would go ahead.
Crazy Frog by Axel F.
Is that
It's
like
kind of a Christian sounding song.
you sound when you do that rain stick noise or whatever it is that you sounded like just then, it it
Did you say
sounded like
rain stick noise?
oh yeah, what are those
You mean a
things?
didgeridoo?
A didgeridoo, that's what
Yeah,
it
it is
sounded
kind of a
like you were
similar.
playing, but to me, it sounded like Janie Meyer was rapping, and, like,
Oh,
maybe
yeah.
if I slowed that down, you would be saying words like in Hamilton.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, Crazy Frog by Axel F is a great song, and I want everybody to go and listen to it right now.
I thought you were gonna say, "It's the final
I
countdown,"
don't know that song,
which
Hallie.
I think it's a Christian song because what it's saying is that Jesus could come back at any minute, you know? That's why I make no bakes instead of chocolate chips. I'm not even turning on the oven. He's coming back so quick.
Okay, well, we got through that one without going too off the rails. What's another question that we've gotten, Hallie?
Well, with all that's been going on in the news, somebody asked, it seems like the times are dramatic, things are escalating,
Yeah.
like when they were shooting at JFK and Reagan. They're shooting at another presidential candidate, and all this stuff is happening. And the question is, um, you know, uh, the Supreme Court basically, granted him a monarchy and said he can do any official act he wants. And I think the first thing he should do is I think he's going to kill Jimmy Kimmel. I really do. I think that show is going to go off the air. You watch how fast you turn to that channel, and there's going to be colored bars looking back at you because number 44 is going to say no thank you to
Well,
the Joker who has never had a funny joke. He doesn't even write his
somebody
own
should have done it
jokes.
a long time ago because he's absolutely not funny.
So the question is, how many times should we vote for Trump? Considering, I'm assuming you mean in the upcoming, mail-in ballots and the November election. How many times should we vote for Trump, considering, the onslaught that is happening?
Well, I
And
think this
in
is
the Bible, Jesus said, "How many times should you turn the other cheek?" He said 70 times 7.
yeah, which I
And
mean, I can't
so
even do that
I feel
math.
like we need to, if maybe you have a place in Florida that you keep and you could throw one in the ballot, there, or mail it in, or have someone in Florida put I don't know, a Florida stamp on it. And then if you're, up here in Indiana, or in Bloomington, we got listeners all over. Um,
Yeah.
then you can vote, here as well. I mean, I would say as frequently and as often as you possibly can.
Well, I think there's a way too, Hallie, that we have to remember we are in the fight for our lives as Christians, and it is really important that we have a president that reflects that. And something that we can all do, especially if you're the head of your household, and this is for all the men listening, I think you can go and effectively say, I am the head of the household, and therefore, anyone under my roof I can vote. I can decide their vote,
That's
and I
probably,
can cast their vote.
that's a really good point.
And so this is also a good call to, have a few
Yeah.
more kids, I think is also really important. I'm pretty busy right now.
But what fun homework. Have some kids.
Have
It's
some
fun
kids.
making them.
And I
5
think you
minutes at
can
a
say
time.
when they turn 18, you know how they're gonna vote. And so for now,
Yep.
you get a ballot for each one of
Yep.
those souls under your roof.
But I think what'll happen is, I mean, once Trump becomes president again, is you know what? He can make it official act that he can get all those women off the Supreme Court probably immediately, because he probably, they might like that anyway, because
Are there women on the Supreme Court?
I think there are.
Really?
Well, one of them I think
I
can
didn't think
stay
that was
because
allowed.
she the Notre Dame one, I think she can stay because she kind of, well, she's very, very white, but I bet he would want to get rid of the other three gals, because they're definitely voting the wrong way and stuff. So
Okay.
he could get rid of them as an official act. Then he could also, and they might like that because they might, be menstruating and want to lay down for a while, or menopausal. And also they might need to just, I don't know, do what Lance Labonte's mom is doing. And maybe they need to hit the starving Marvin and get some Twinkies and take it easy. Stop trying to give everybody rights and stuff. We need the authority of the Bible, the authority of the government. But I think then what Trump will do is he'll say, my next official act is that, I can have a lifetime appointment, and then he'll die in office. And then his last official act will be like, I'm going to make Trump Jr. the guy. And then, you know what? The liberals will never have another chance to even try to get in there.
Oh yeah, I've never even thought of that.
So
What a good
it's really
idea.
important that we vote many and often, as often as you possibly can. We got months away. I don't know how soon you can start, but I'd say as soon as you can, get it going,
Great.
All right. Next question. Now, I don't know if this is a sacrilegious question or not, but if we weren't working at Twin Hills, which that's hard to even imagine. I don't even want to think about it.
I can't
They're
even
going to have to
imagine.
take me out of here feet first
Well,
on a
they did that
stretcher.
one time.
They did have to do that one time. I did go out of here on a stretcher.
Right.
Got an ambulance ride to the hospital. An ambulance ride, you'd be surprised. The sirens aren't too loud from the inside.
Oh, really? I've always wondered that.
I just was really enjoying getting a rest. I had like a 10-minute nap there in the middle of the day.
And what exactly had happened, Hallie? You said it was something with your lower back?
My lower back had given me a prolapsed. Well, the problem is my colon fell out.
Oh, I didn't know that. Never mind.
It can reverse. It can be inside, which is outside.
How?
Or it can be outside. It can be outside, or it can be outside, if you know what I mean.
Well,
So I
technically,
had to
according
get
to
that
you, it was
shoved
always
back up
outside.
in there. I had to get that shoved back up in there, and it was not pleasant. But boy, did they give me something at the hospital that, whoo!
What did that have to do with your lower back?
Well, it's all connected.
So something happened with you. Sometimes, Hallie, and I'm sorry, I've got to say this, and I'm sorry that this is happening live, but I want you to consider going through maybe just a simple Q&A with yourself, which is, does someone need to know this right now?
Well, you asked.
I know, but I don't think anybody needed to know the gory details of it, Hallie.
Well, I'm fine now. I got my outside back on the inside where it's outside.
Okay.
But so I would never want to not work at Twin Hills, is all I'm saying. But if I were to not work at Twin Hills, the question is, what would be our dream job? Or what do you think would be a practical job? Would you go for a practical job, or would you go for a dream job? Can I even dream that big?
Well, Hallie, for me, this is very easy, because I feel like I already do this. I am a hashtag entrepreneur. And I
Awesome.
approach Climax Youth Ministry like an entrepreneur. I'm always hashtag grinding. And
cool.
it's always been in my DNA to find new ways to disrupt the youth ministry the field of youth ministry to move fast, to break things, and to reinvent it, and then possibly exit when it gets too big.
Yeah,
And
then give it to a female CEO, and then
uh,
let her crash the ship.
Right. But I guess, for me,
That's what they
Hallie, it
do.
would probably be something in entrepreneurship. And
Cool.
that could just mean, one of my great ideas, one of my awesome products, possibly working on collabs. These are all things that I'm really passionate about. And of course, attacking them from a Christ centered point of view.
Wow, that is
And
awesome.
Steve even calls me an entrepreneur, Hallie. He's
Is
like,
that
well, he
right?
calls me a disruptor. And
Wow.
whenever I come up with a new idea, I think a lot of people in the youth ministry world are really paying attention because I'm a thought leader.
Ah,
And I don't know if you knew, but this year I'm going to be giving a talk at basically what we call it's like the TED conference, but it's just for Christians. And I'm going to be giving a little keynote about all the completely lit things that I've done to
wow.
break youth ministry and build it back up.
Cool.
What about you, Hallie?
That's awesome. I just would if I could just ask, God or Jesus or Christ specifically
Well,
to
we've already prayed once today, Hallie.
strike a word from the English language, it would be entrepreneurship.
Why?
That word
It's
and
the coolest.
Worcestershire,
Worcestershire?
both of those words can get the heck behind me, Satan. What would my dream be? My dream job, I don't know how to dream, I think, because I can only think about heaven being a very real place where there is a mansion and a crown waiting for me, and I have rubies in my crown. I have lots of jewels in my crown. For times I've sacrificed myself, we've gone through pregnancies and births.
Hallie, what is going on with you today? Everyone's just wanting to know what other job you could do.
Oh, you know what I
No
would
one's
like
asking
to
about a
do? I
mansion in heaven.
honestly think I would like to be behind the butcher counter at Meijer. I think that would be so cool to shave when somebody comes up and they're like, "Can I have a pound of roast beef?" I think it would be so cool to get the big chunk of roast beef, put it on the thing, and then go like this, be like, back and forth, and back and forth, and back and forth, and back and forth, and back and forth. And then I know
That's your dream?
and it would be cool. And then I would know when it was exactly 1 pound because they have the measurements on there. I'd get a sense of satisfaction closing up the bag, putting a sticker on it. It prints out, you stick it on there. I think it would be so satisfying. You hand it over, you get to talk to people. If you're hungry, there's a sliced turkey right there. There's lots of good cheeses back there. I
Okay.
think it would be so cool. The Meijer is right by my house, right around Keystone at the crossing. I think Meijer's got everything you need. If I need gas on the way home, I just get gas right there at Meijer's. I get a flat tire, I get a new tire right there at Meijer's, and then I go work at Meijer's. It's kind of I think Meijer's is sort of like Twin Hills. It's like a full campus. They've got everything you could possibly need, and just like Twin Hills and the excellence we have here. We've got a lazy river, we've got an Olympic sized pool, we've got a full karaoke den.
So, okay. So, I guess my answer is entrepreneur, and Hallie's is
Butcher,
well, I think that I
deli,
don't even know if those people are butchers. Are they, Hallie? I think they're just like,
deli.
okay, deli counter.
And I'd put my hair in a net. I wouldn't want anybody to see me looking like that, but I'd put my hair in a net. That's fine. I'd pretend like I was wearing a costume.
Okay.
Okay, another good question that someone sent in here, Gray, is if you had a son someday, maybe when you and Tiffer get married
I
and you
know
have
we're
a
talking
wedding
about
night
it.
and
We
you
are
start
talking about it.
trying for kids and you have, let's say, of course, you'd probably have a son first, and he would
Oh,
he
definitely.
would probably pop right out of her body into the doctor's arms and he'd start doing some burpees or squats right there on the examining table.
Well, and so what's the question?
Oh, what would you name him?
Oh, the name. Yeah. Well, of course, I've got a little list of names that I've always kind of had in the back of my Bible. Sometimes I circle a biblical name that I enjoy and will try to match it up with sort of a vibe. And so, and I guess the first one that comes to mind is Limitless. Was a name that I
Oh,
was thinking of would be a great
whoa.
for a son. like Limitless Nicodemus or something, like
Yeah.
uh, um, like Nick, and then you could do something like Limitless Nico, or just something like that. I thought
That's
Assuage would
cool.
be a cool name.
Assuage. That's
Assuage.
so cool.
And I don't like to name names, but and literally don't like to name names. But when I think about names, a name is a brand, and this is, of
Oh,
course, I'm an
wow.
entrepreneur, so I'm always kind of thinking about branding. But a name is a brand. And so you've got to think of your son as your brand. He's an
Oh,
extension of you.
cool. Oh, well,
And so,
interesting.
yeah, I thought about just what goes with gray. Um, I've thought about matter. So it's like gray and
Gray matter. That would be so cool.
very cool. Gray matter Haas. Of course, GJ, just I think would be a cool name. GJ.
Yeah. That would be so cool. He would have to be a rapper, a music producer.
Right. Yeah, that's right. And that, of course, that doesn't stand for junior. That stands for Jubilee.
Awesome.
So
Wow.
I have thought, but right now, I guess,
What about Shadesa?
Shadesa,
Shadesa,
Shadesa.
like shades of gray.
No.
I think that one's good.
So yeah, that's what I think that is what I would name a son. But I also have names, just like strong names like Stone,
Ooh,
Hammer,
yeah.
Pike,
Ooh.
Anvil, Table, Fist,
I always thought
and
Army
Jim.
Hammer was a real masculine
That
name.
is a good name.
Yeah, beautiful guy. Good
Speaking of
guy.
transubstantiation, it seems like that's what he
Yeah.
really wanted.
He
Uh,
must be Catholic, tall and blonde like that.
what's the next question, Hallie?
What do we need to know about the post? What do we need to know about the post in the Twin Hills Telegram? Christian Swingles Friday 10 p.m. Is it a line dancing thing?
I think that's a swing dancing thing.
Yeah, swing is
Swing
so
dancing, it's
cool.
so cool.
It's so cool. You can put on the outfits, you can swing all that fabric in your dress.
Speaking of a karaoke song that I always go to, if we're at a non-Christian karaoke place, is anything by Big Bad Voodoo Daddy.
Yeah.
I love those oldies. I mean, I love oldies, and I love when they took old music and made it new again in the old days, which were whenever that band was around. But I love that song, Zoot Suit Riot. I love that song. I love anything by Big Bad Voodoo Daddy, and I love to do those little. Sometimes I'll add a little choreography, but kind of an update on that choreography.
That is so cool.
Yeah,
That is really cool.
yeah. I
And
think
yeah,
that's a
I think
swing dancing
I
thing.
would highly recommend Christian Swingles because I think it's all swing style music, but all of the lyrics are going to be God honoring.
Yeah,
A lot of them are the original lyrics because it tends to be a wholesome genre,
yeah.
but when necessary, we'll slip in, some more Christ focused lyrics, just so that people don't stumble in the flesh, that type of thing. Okay, this is a great question. A few mornings ago, I prayed for wisdom, and my Bible opened all by itself to John 15, and the words of verse 4 glowed with a heavenly light. It
Mm.
read, "Abide in me, and I in
Oh,
you."
I love that one. It's such a banger.
Abide in
Oh,
me and I and you.
oh.
I was flummoxed. It
Biden.
seems that at least two members of the Trinity are for Joe Biden and are asking me to follow.
Mm.
Of course I will, but it seems to go against what everybody else at Twin Hills is doing. I just thought I'd let you know. Biden, me, and I and you.
Abide in me.
Abide in
I would
me.
be careful with this one, Hallie, because here's the thing. We as Christians know that one thing we don't ever do is read too much into the text.
No.
We don't do that.
No,
We take it for its
it's
word.
it's 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 literal. It is exactly what it says.
Yes. And so I just want to remind everyone that just because abide in me sounds like abide in me, you don't need to read into that, because we don't get political, do we, Hallie?
No.
This is beyond politics. Politics is, honestly, that is of the world. We are not of the world. And so I don't think God is saying abide in me. I think he's saying abide in me. And so I don't think we need to
It does
read
sound
into
like
that.
how he talks, though, because he's like, "As for me and my household, we will serve the Lord." Like, as for me, he is because they can tend to be a bit Yoda like in the writers of the Bible, kind of like they talk like Yoda a lot. So abide in me. It sounds like Yoda is saying, "Abide in me." Like
Abide,
that's my guy.
abide in me.
I mean, but like I just think, when one of them, has some brain fog, what are 34 little felony counts that were trumped up charges anyway?
Yeah,
Um,
I would be careful reading too much into those verses, especially like if something sounds like abiding, it's
because
probably not
sometimes things are
abiding.
symbolic,
Right.
like communion, and sometimes they're real, like communion.
Yeah.
So but I will tell you this, because there's one thing I know about the Trinity, and this is truer than anything anybody has ever said, as long as people have been saying things, is that no one in the Trinity can be against the other two. They're all always on the
Yeah.
same page. It
It's
is,
not like you have 3 people and
yeah,
it's not, no one's taking a vote.
no,
No.
no, no. I do think God is the head, because Godhead. But you know what? On a triangle, guess what? It's all equal sides.
Well, it's unless it's a triangle that has 3 different
Unless there's an
sides.
obtuse angle in there. Not that kind of triangle.
Right.
But you know the kind of triangle I'm saying. A symmetrical triangle
Right.
only has 3 sides, and that's what the Trinity is. It's
Unless it's
the
a
yolk,
pyramid and then it has more than 3 sides, I
it's
guess.
the yolk, it's the white part, and it's the shell.
Isn't it crazy that pyramids have 4 sides, Hallie?
No, they have to have 3. They're triangles.
No, they have 4.
No. That would be some kind of weird sorcery. Okay, we only have a couple left. Okay. There are some people in my life who I find very frustrating, but God has placed it on my heart to lead them to the church. Oh, this happens to me every day. Sometimes I feel like Jonah trying to preach to Nineveh, though I'd like to avoid the whale part. Good point.
Yeah.
Do you have any advice on how to witness to people you don't like to spend time with?
This
That's
is
the
a
rub, isn't it?
great one.
Because most people are pretty irritating,
Yeah.
especially when they're not believers,
Yeah.
because they've got all these cockamamie ideas in their head. They, are pretty selfish. They don't have love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, gentleness, faithfulness, and self-control.
Yep.
Certainly not all at the same time,
I
which is
know.
what Christians have. But you know what? Jesus died for them too. He was thinking of them. He was thinking of how annoying they are when he was hanging on the cross.
But unfortunately, Jesus wasn't thinking about the moment you're in right now when you have to talk to them. And therefore, I would say my strategy with a seeker or a non-believer or a pre-Christian is don't stop talking. If you don't let them talk, then they are
Yep.
basically a captive audience.
Yep.
So if you can just talk, I mean, I'm sorry, I have to go back to Crazy Frog, Axel F's Crazy Frog, but when I am witnessing, I am bumbling, bumbling, blim, bum, bum, blim, blim, bum, 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 bum. I'm going fast. I'm laying it down. I'm giving them truth fast and hard. What is their experience of that? It's like the song, it's like Crazy Frog says, you know, it's it I mean, I guess it's not really a song with lyrics, but it's the vibe, and so they're getting that Crazy Frog vibe from me, and I am just absolutely obliterating their arguments or their pushback or their autonomy by just giving them the download fast and hard.
Now, you could think about incorporating a didgeridoo into witnessing to somebody.
Well, I mean, we did used to do that in Australia all the time, Hallie. I was in a youth Christian didgeridoo band actually at one
Awesome.
point, or it was
Awesome.
more of a community singing group.
I was in a rain stick group.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, and ours got shut down because unfortunately, Well, a lot of people got kind of like mouth sores because of sharing the didgeridoos.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. What about you, Hallie? How do you witness to people that you find irritating?
Well, you know what? Here's the honest to God truth is that I would probably be irritated by almost everyone,
Mm,
but I don't even know because I don't even allow myself to feel it. And I just assume that they're better than me. They are children of the utmost high God. I am here to serve. I am a 2 on the Enneagram. I am in full time Christian service and ministry. And so, you know what? It is not any of my never mind how I feel about anybody, no matter how much they might make me want to, go pop a few more Xannies. Sorry, would you take that out when we edit it out later, Gray?
what's a Zanny?
Oh, it's just like kind of if you need a tic tac and you gotta, just sort of give yourself a little help. If you got bad breath, you gotta have a tic tac. It's just another thing that's tic tacking around in your purse. Anyway, um, well,
Do you get this from Dr. Crisp?
yeah, I can get it from Crisp. That's I got to get stuff for sleep from him. And he can do it all. He can do it all. And I put it right in the outside of my body, and within 5 minutes, I'm not in crushing anxiety.
That's great. Right on the hour. I think we got it. Thanks, everybody. That was a very fun recording. Wow, we really went hard on some transubstantiation talk.
We didn't get into the Donovan Geo stuff. Shitballs.
What was the Donovan Geo stuff?
Weren't we supposed to? I thought beforehand you were talking about
Oh,
what
no,
are we gonna do about dinner?
No, nobody knows what that's from yet, so that's still a
Can
mystery.
I give hints?
Sure.
Wait, but would it give it away if I was like,
Yeah.
oh, yeah.
Um,
wait, I know what I could do. Antony and Cleopatra.
Okay. That's a good hint.
What are we gonna do about dinner?
Hey, thanks everyone
Thanks
for joining the
us,
live
everybody.
stream.
Thanks for being here.
If you want another online fun distraction today, I'm producing a new show. I'm gonna put the link in the bio, and it's really cool. We are doing this trivia show. It's a trivia and comedy show. We have Helen Hunt playing. We have Kate McCucci playing, and it's called Like Minds. And just because you joined the live stream, I will give you a discount code to join us. So here's the link. It's a really fun show. I hope some of you will make it in there.
The theme of the trivia and comedy show is the Beatles.
The Beatles is the theme today, and that's just the starting place. It will go all.
I wonder if Helen has been boning up on her Beatles knowledge.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, you're allowed to do that when you know the theme, right?
Awesome. Yeah, you can do whatever you want.
You're allowed to.
Oh, yay. Thanks for buying a ticket, Kristen.
Oh,
and
Kristen,
the code, if you want a couple bucks off the live stream, is Like Minds. So I think it will be a very fun show, and would love for you to join. It's at 4 p.m. and you can watch it for 72 hours after the fact. Thanks so much, everybody, for joining in, and we'll read your comments here on the back end.
Did anybody win?
Anybody win bingo?
I feel like we didn't do a lot of regular things.
Yeah, maybe no one won bingo today.
We might have been bad hosts.
I don't think somebody has to win bingo every time. That makes it special. I know no CMB today.
Oh, yeah.
But thanks so much, everybody.
And
one
CMB away from bingo.
Next time.
There was not even one CMB. Yeah, there wasn't.
I know.
Damn.
But thanks for subbing to the channel. Thanks for giving us a couple thumbs up there in the thumbs up category. And
was Hallie Hextra today? Was it a crazy Hallie out? Oh goodness.
And
goodness gracious.
We'll see you on the flip. We'll probably we'll be here next Sunday doing another live stream.
Yeah, it's so fun. I love doing it. I love that you're here. Thanks for being here.
Thanks everyone. Keep an ear out, and we'll put this in the midweek feed pretty soon. And thanks to our Patreon supporters. That's, of course, the best way to support Mega and get your questions in an episode. We love y'all.
Bye.
See ya.